They've had 25 years of experience in the financial markets, investing, managing billions of dollars of capital to be in a position to do that.
Since Clark founded her firm Harborview, it's acquired over 70 music catalogs and has over $1 billion in investable capital. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the hosts and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, man. But I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is April 14th, 2026. You know what that means. If you live in the city of Milwaukee, today is quite the local holiday, as it is 414 Day. It's the day in which we commemorate the area code of the city of Milwaukee. And to dedicate this program to 414 Day, we're going to talk about pretty much exclusively Milwaukee-related issues and topics. Today, there's a whole bunch of them that I'd like to share with you and get your perspectives. Of course, you can join us online at 1017thetruth.com. Of course, old school style in your radio, 101.7 FM. You also can join us on YouTube. If you join us on YouTube, there's some additional benefits. Let me share them. If you go to youtube.com or open up a YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, search 1017 The Truth, hit subscribe. You'll be able to view the live stream of the program, participate in the YouTube chat, and vote in our YouTube poll. As of late, the topic of affordability is trending all over the place, and it harkens back to the previous presidential election where people were lamenting and complaining about the high cost of living, whether it be inflation, the high cost of groceries, the cost of eggs, which I think is a dominant reason why Kamala Harris lost her most recent presidential bid. That and white women voted for Donald Trump, but we can't hold them responsible for their actions. That would be unfair. So affordability is a big deal. We've had a number of conversations, and of course, people call in with their opinions on affordable housing because I think that there is a negative connotation associated with affordable housing. What is that going to bring? What kind of culture is that going to bring? You mean to tell me that you're going to bring a bunch of poor people in and disguise it as affordable housing? Because, the poors are awful. Their kids are unruly. Their kids don't do well in school. They just drag down the culture. I'm not kidding. I've heard people say these exact same things. That is more of a classist kind of sentiment. But we do have a new affordable housing development that is taking place in southeastern Wisconsin. In fact, in Milwaukee County, in a very unlikely place. And I want to get your thoughts and feelings on creating affordable housing units, maybe even in places where houses were unaffordable on purpose to keep a certain element out. What about when you decrease the price of homes to get a certain element in? So we'll be discussing that. Also, I got some good stuff here. Now, I'm not going to preview that one yet. That one I'm going to save for later. Why don't we do this? Because today is the celebration and commemoration of 414 Day. Someone had asked me last week if I was going to do anything special and or particular for 414 Day. Nah, I passed up on the interviews because it's not worth it. I was going to get the mayor on, but if I got the mayor on, a whole bunch of y'all would call and yell and want to scream at him, so I'll leave him alone. But I do have a very healthy list of activities, of discounts, of attractions citywide. It is an overwhelming list of things that are happening in the city today. Assuming the weather cooperates, I would love for you guys to take advantage of all of these deals and discounts from different attractions, whether it be the zoo or the domes, the Harley-Davidson Museum. So I'm going to list all of those, including some black-owned businesses that are participating in 414 Day, which is typically very rare. We've always had an issue with African-American-owned businesses not taking advantage of the natural marketing and promotion of their businesses on 414 Day. So I've got some things from some black-owned businesses if that's the direction you want to go. But first, let's start the program on a very unusual note. Let's talk to Alan. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Did your power stay on last night?
It did, and so I didn't even know that the storms were that bad, so I was sleeping, and I heard the wind, and I was like, oh, it's windy, and I went back to sleep, but apparently it was a damn tornado or tornadic winds, and trees were falling down. I slept right through it.
That's good. My buddy's up in, one of my friends, there are a couple of guys up there in Fox Point, they called me, and they were like, is your power out? And I said, no, it's not. Why, is yours? And then, their power went out. And then some people I know further to the west out there, more by like Holy Hill, they had quite a bit. And the tornadoes, the winds were whipping through there. But the affordable housing thing you're talking about, I'm glad you're all right. That's what we're dealing with here, kind of. And the thing with us is the issue is just people not telling to begin with, not letting anybody know what they're doing. Not notifying the neighbors. I guess that's my big bugaboo with this whole thing. People need to live somewhere, but you have to notify the people in the community what you're doing. And you can't take advantage of people because of their economic or where they live. And I do agree with you. Like I've suggested at city meetings, a lot of people up in Mequon have very, very big yards. I had a buddy get real mad at me about that. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're part of it. They could build some nice stuff right here on your property. And he's like, you're an idiot. I said, well, I'm just telling you the truth, my friend. Why did they got to build it in the middle of a playground by us where there's no parking, no nothing? But, I'm getting all over the place. 411, we might do something depending on the weather. But as always, you're doing a fantastic job. And I just want to try to stay on point, not gallivant too much today. Did I do all right?
No.
Oh, really? What did I do wrong today?
Because I didn't really dive into a topic. You basically took my intro and ran with it. So the affordable housing thing, we'll talk about that later. You just took a little bit of everything that I said and you made it about affordable housing in your neighborhood, even though you live in a neighborhood where the housing is already relatively affordable, but that's okay.
It is. you know what? They're raising our taxes. My note is pretty cheap. I can't complain about it. But it's going up $100 now. Like some of my neighbors were saying, that's a lot of money if you're on a fixed income.
Wait, what's going up $100? What's going up $100?
Our taxes are going up. My note's going up $100 a month.
Oh, that's probably because you had an escrow shortage. You can pay that up front, and then your mortgage will go back to what it was last year if you so choose. But there was a referendum that the people in the city voted on, and the referendum passed, and that probably explains the increase in the taxes. And so what I would say to those folks is the next time there's a referendum, maybe get more actively engaged and involved politically so that people don't vote for the referendum so our taxes don't go up. But they call me crazy for wanting to provide information.
But I always tell people to get out and vote, man. I'm like you. I vote. It's the most sacred thing we have.
Yeah, but you vote for the wrong candidates, though. You vote for the Republicans.
At least I vote. But no, I don't always vote for Republicans. I've sat them out before.
What Democrat have you ever voted for?
Chris Pratt.
In a partisan election, technically but where you live, most of the people that run locally are going to lean left. When have you voted for an actual pronounced Democrat in a partisan election?
Never.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
I'm 64, never.
All right.
And my hometown was more Democratic. Kenosha was more Democratic than this, by far. Because of the union down there, right?
And Kenosha's gone for Trump, dude, and probably at least one, if not two, of the last 3 elections.
That was now. But I'm talking when I was a kid. It was really, really rare to find anybody from my hometown who did not, A, who wasn't union, and B, who did not vote for Democrats. All right, I got to run up here and give my wife some flowers. I'm at the police station.
Why are you getting your wife flowers from the police station?
No, I'm not getting them from her. She works up here in the office over here at the academy. I got to run up because every now and then people might be rude to her, and I got to let people know what a real man looks like. All right, buddy. Some of these cops think they're alphas, but hey, sir, how are you today?
So you're walking into the police academy with flowers to show all those cucks that your wife, it belongs to you. So you're walking in there so they can see you deliver those flowers.
Well, so they can see somebody getting something they're not. There's some women that are mean to her sometimes. You know how that goes. They don't have nothing. So she likes to see me, believe it or not. All right, buddy.
All right, then. Thank you, Alan.
God bless you, man. Thank you. I'll see you. Hey, did they tell you I called the other day? I was at the Villard McDonald's, and the guy, one guy, Homer Blow, I think it is. He told me the guy on there was telling me to spit game or something. And when I got done, they're like, my God, the guy can. I was talking to the young lady there, and I always talk to her anyway. They're nice to me. I always get a cone and a cola every morning, Diet Coke and a cone. And she's a nice young lady. We're always talking, have small talk, banter back and forth. But you got to give people compliments. They don't. A lot of people don't take time to notice other people. All right, my friend. Take care, buddy. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
I want you all to know that last 2 minutes was just some stuff that he just kind of concocted in his head. Who got the Coke and the cone? And why would those two things even go together? Why would somebody get ice cream and a Coca-Cola at the same time? I don't understand. Why? Okay, then. So this is how we're doing it on 414 Day. All right, anytime I focus on Milwaukee, for some reason, the calls get weird. The flow of the show is going to be weird. So stay tuned for a very weird show. I'm going to take a break, come back, give you a whole bunch of ideas and deals and attractions going on today, as today is 414 Day in the city of Milwaukee. You're listening to The Truth on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's that time of year again for the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we'll be cleaning up the city of Milwaukee. You can also safely get rid of hazardous household items thanks to MMST. Drop off your items from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at MLK Elementary School. We're talking things like all antifreeze, paint thinners, batteries, and pesticides. Sign up now at ToryLoweCleanup.com. The Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Sub, and Waste Management.
You're a hard worker, provide for your family, and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
.414 Day commemorates Milwaukee's area code with numerous promotions and discounts and special events across bars, restaurants, lounges, museums, the zoo, and other tourist attractions. Many venues offer $4.14 pricing. So for those of you that are concerned about the high cost of everything and all of this inflation, today it's a whole bunch of stuff you can do for $4.14. So that will be on selected items and admissions to honor the occasion. Let's start with the zoo. 10,001 West Blue Mound Road, Milwaukee County residents, adults, and children receive $4.14 admission. Parking and additional attraction fees may apply. Mitchell Park Domes, $4.14 admissions all day long with extended hours from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. Last admission will be, of course, 7 p.m. That's going to include live music from the Latin Sound System and other DJ sets today at the Domes, free 414 Day stickers while supplies last, and a cash bar starting at 3 p.m. and concessions from Zilly Hospitality Group from 5 until 7:30. I didn't know you could drink at the Domes. You can go into the Desert Dome, get drunk, and fall on a cactus. I didn't know that. The Harley-Davidson Museum is not going to be left out of 414 Day. $4.14 admission for the first 414 ticket buyers online only. Features the On Milwaukee 414 party with an official city toast at 4 o'clock in 14 minutes. BMX stunt show from 4 until 7, raffles, and a 4.14 pound brat eating contest. That's disgusting. I like brats, but not. A 4 pound brat is a big sausage. Some of you like big sausage. I know several of you would say, oh, you don't have anything bigger than this. A 4.14 pound brat eating contest. So it's who can eat the most 4 pound brats. I think I know a couple of contenders that might do very well in that contest. Additional specials include $4.14 s'mores kits at the factory outlet and $4.14 engines with sound figurines at the Harley-Davidson gift shop. Historic Milwaukee Incorporated, located at 235 East Michigan, will have all 38 historic neighborhood posters on sale for $4.14 each. They're regularly $10. The neighborhood combo poster is $15.86, regularly $20. And Milwaukee County Park posters are $8.28. Oh, I see what they did there. They doubled the 414 price. Those are regularly $15 in-store hours from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Now, here we go. Bars and recreation venues, including Axe Milwaukee at 1924 East Kenilworth, Amped at 910 West Juneau, Slingshot Bar at 6325 West National, The New Fashioned at 1122 North Vale Phillips. There's literally dozens of bars. I'm not reading all these. I'll give you some of the best deals, but let me just take a side note on this. So it's a trend, I reckon, because there's a couple of different places, or at least one. I just mentioned it. It's called Axe, MKE. So it's axe throwing, right? It's a social event. Like, people will go, it's recreation. Sometimes corporate retreats will be at Axe Milwaukee, because I've seen photographs and I've seen postings on Instagram. Please tell me how this is legal, ladies and gentlemen. And Axe MKE is a bar. It serves all of the alcoholic beverages and spirits you could ever want. So people get drunk and they throw axes at a target. It's an axe that you use to chop down, I don't know, trees, people. Please tell me how they got licensed to have an alcohol-serving establishment where you throw a sharp projectile. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I know this much. I go golfing. Not often. Don't worry. It's not... I couldn't really call it a hobby, but every now and again in the summertime, I might take a few days off, and I go golfing. It's very beautiful. Golf courses are very nice. It's very serene. It's very peaceful, and it's really good exercise. Going golfing is. And sometimes there is alcohol involved when you golf, because there's always a girl on a cart wearing an exceptionally small golf skirt, probably a very tight-fitting, form-fitting top. And she'll offer beverages. Hi, gentlemen, would you like to buy a drink? We've got all sorts of beverages here. And what'll happen after a few holes of golf, and the cart girl she'll hover. She'll kind of follow you around. Hi, gentlemen, just wondering if you want a refresher and a refill of your alcoholic beverages. And of course we say yes, because the game of golf, while very peaceful and serene, it's hella boring, especially if you're terrible. But what I come to find is this: the more beverages I imbibe in when I'm golfing, and it's a very safe place to be a little intoxicated, you have a little fun with your friends. Not to mention, golf carts become infinitely more fun when you've had a couple of beverages, because that is the kind of drunk driving that's actually allowed. And as far as I know, it's legal. But if I have a golf club in my hand and I have been imbibing, no one is safe. And that's a golf club and a golf ball, because there is no guarantee that when Sherwin Hughes hits a golf ball, that it's going to go straight. There is no guarantee that when Sherwin Hughes hits a golf ball, it is going to go toward its intended target. Okay? That's why people yell 4. That means look out. Sherwin is about to hit the golf ball, and it's a mystery where it goes. And that's just a golf ball. Not to mention, if you don't tighten up that grip, you may let go of the golf club. Yes, that has happened to me before. So this is just a golf club and a golf ball when alcohol is involved. How are they allowing, and I'm not trying to, be negative on the business model of Axe MKE, but I never understood it, and I've never stepped foot in a place like that. But if you want to go to Axe MKE, located at 1924 East Kenilworth Place in Milwaukee on our famed east side, they're having deals where you can get drunk and throw axes at wooden targets. The New Fashion, located at 1122 North Vale Phillips Avenue, hyper bowling, hazy rabbit beers or rail mixers for $4.14 from 5 until 9:14 p.m. Amped Milwaukee at 910 West Juneau is going to have karaoke sessions for $4.14, again from 5 until 9:14 p.m. Some of you are terrible at karaoke, and I don't know why you think you're good at it, but you're not very good. But you can go and experience some karaoke at Amped at 910 West Juneau for $4.14. Augie's Kitchen and Bar, actually one of my favorites, 411 East Mason Street. It is the first floor of Hotel Metro. Excellent food, incredible service. They're going to have cheese curds and the smash burgers and old fashions and Good City Pilsners, each for $4.14. That's a deal. If you can get you some cheese curds and a smash burger for $8.28, you are winning on the day. The Miller Time Pub and Grill, where a good friend of mine is the manager, located on the first floor of the Hilton Hotel in Milwaukee. at the Milwaukee City Center at 509 West Wisconsin Avenue, right down the street from where we are. Miller Lite, Coors, and High Life will be $4.14 all day long. Our friends over at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, 1721 West Canal Street, will have $4.14 Miller Lights, High Lifes, and build your own brat bar items. Cheese curds at the Burger Company, pregame party at the Annex at 3 p.m. with live music, drink specials, and a 4:14 p.m. toast. Limited edition 414 shirts available, and there will be a game day shuttle to the Brewers game from 5 p.m. The Smoke Shack, which always runs out of ribs, 332 North Milwaukee Street, $4.14 jalapeno cheddar brats. Why's everybody got brats today? I'm still tripping off of this 4.14 pound brat eating contest. How many of those? Could you imagine what that thing looks like? A brat that big could star in a movie. And you know what kind of movie I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's a big piece of meat. Xavier, you like brats?
I love brats.
Oh, would you ever eat a 4-pound? I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would eat it.
Probably just like to just look at it and just like, whoa, it
probably has a lot of flavor.
Oh, I'll bet. Probably juicy. I mean, it's 4 pounds. That's a heavy brat. That's a very large sausage. The Motor Barn Restaurant, the Harley Davidson Museum, 401 West Canal, $4.14 brats. That's actually a good deal. They're going to do that from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. and happy hour specials from 3 p.m. until 6. Plus, that's where they're having the 4.14 pound brat eating contest. That's going to start at 6 p.m. For any of you planning on going to the Harley Davidson Museum, which I would highly suggest because they got a bunch of stuff going on for 414 Day, could you get a picture of the 4-pound brat for me? I want to see what a 4.14 pound brat looks like. Is it long? Is it thick? Is it girthy? Because that's a very large sausage. The Blue Bat Kitchen, 249 North Water Street in Milwaukee's 3rd Ward, will have margaritas for $4.14 all day. Pretty much any damn where you go, everything is going to be $4.14 today. The Brownstone Social Lounge at 524 North Water, that's a black-owned establishment. All-day happy hour specials and Milwaukee beer promotions. Sweet Smoke Barbecue, that's a food truck outside of Busby's at 3475 South Kinnickinnick Avenue. Ooh-wee. They're going to have $4.14 pulled pork sandwiches. And they say specifically here, 1 per person, fatty. Hi, can I get 47 pulled pork sandwiches? No, you can only get 1. Plus sides. Oh, it includes sides. So $4.14 for a pulled pork sandwich, 1 per person. Plus sides from 5 until 8 p.m. at Sweet Smoke Barbecue at 3475 South KK. Garfield's 502, selected items, 4 wings, Polish sausage. There we go with sausage again. Okra, onion rings, house margaritas, and all Tito's drinks. You know, Tito's, that's my brand. Garfield's 502 offering all of those specials for $4.14 each. Additional food promotions, not specifically $4.14. Junior's Treats at 624 North Water Street, they're giving away a free ice cream cone from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. while supplies last. And also, you know what? In Ben & Jerry's, do I have my little Ben & Jerry's thing? Ben & Jerry's in the 3rd Ward at 203 North Broadway. We've been telling y'all about that all week. Ben & Jerry's at 203 North Broadway in the 3rd Ward. You're getting a free scoop of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Waffle cones are $2, so that's a free scoop at Ben & Jerry's. What do we got for black-owned businesses? Sherman Phoenix, located at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue. It's a hub for black-owned businesses. They're going to host a 414-day party from 2 until 7 p.m., featuring food specials and signature 414-day drinks from multiple vendors inside the Sherman Phoenix space. Entertainment includes, here we go with that karaoke again. Karaoke sing-along with DJ Martin Too Cool. Gotta love that DJ name. That's going to be from 2 until 4 p.m. Music by DJ Nettery from 4 until 7. A performance by, Rodney Poe. Rodney Poe is a Milwaukee's own. He also used to be with Blackstreet. He'll be performing at 5:30 p.m. and line dancing with Prime Time Line Dance at 6 p.m. Local Milwaukee brand merchandise is also going to be available at the Sherman Phoenix. Additional notes include a City Hall flag drop, including free pretzels from the Milwaukee Pretzel Company, breakfast burritos, and cucumber agua fresca from the Bel Air Cantina, and cookies from MKE Downtown with DJs and a photo booth at the City Hall flag drop at 11 o'clock. The Marcus Center for the Performing Arts will have discounted tickets for selected shows. Use code 414DAY. Again, the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts is going to have discounted tickets for selected shows. If you use code 414DAY, 25 to 30% off various performances and tickets. Other venues include Elwood's Liquor and Tap, the Outsider Rooftop, the Sugar Maple, offering parties, tattoos, or non-alcoholic options. Gallery 218 provides free admission during select hours. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So you can send the link of this program via YouTube to all your friends and your family and let them know that Sherwin ran down the big old list of most, not even all, of the attractions taking place in the city of Milwaukee on 414 Day. And to keep true in the spirit of 414 Day, we're going to feature Milwaukee-centered and focused topics for the duration of the show. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, affordable housing, hot topic, controversial. I'm not sure why it's controversial, but it is. Looks like there's an affordable housing development taking shape in a Milwaukee suburb that is sparking a little bit of controversy. We'll talk about that on the other side. You're listening to a 414 Day edition of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes exclusively on 101.7 FM in the city of Milwaukee. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Need a quick, delicious way to fuel your day? Try one of our new protein power plays from Cousin Subs. Power Ham, Power Turkey, Power Club, Power Tuna. 4 craveable 5-inch subs on freshly baked Italian bread. Packed with protein, up to 33 grams. All for just $7.99 for a limited time. It's the flavor you love with the fuel you need. Grab a protein power play in store, online, or on the Cousin Subs app today. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with 2. It's buy one, get one half off throughout April at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land a perfect 2-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. 2nd floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout April at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
Tap into the best power hour in radio in Milwaukee.
So altogether, you're looking at $1,780 for your mortgage and for your property taxes in a year. And that's before you have to deal with, obviously, your water bill and electric bill. That's a steep price that people have to pay. And based off those numbers I just ran, to afford a home like that, you got to make $65,000 a year. But the problem is, here in Milwaukee, the median household income is only $54,234. That's out of whack. So again, I am all about affordability. I'm all about people getting homes. But what we have to understand is that until homes are more affordable, you can have a supply and demand problem. But the problem that we have here in the city of Milwaukee is that these prices, when people are listing these houses, they're listing them for prices that people really can't afford. And even if you do get the house and you're paying that, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is not about living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is about finding something that fits within your budget and building equity for the future.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I don't know where my baby is, but I'll find him somewhere, somehow. I've got to let him know how much I care. I'll never give up looking for my baby.
Oak Creek, Wisconsin is a rapidly growing Milwaukee suburb with a population of approximately 36,000 residents, offering a dense suburban feel. With high levels of home ownership, Oak Creek features a household income of over $96,000 and a population that is not just predominantly but overwhelmingly Caucasian, but a growing Hispanic and Asian community. Population 36,473 individuals. One of Wisconsin's, not just southeastern Wisconsin, the entire state's fastest growing cities, with over 20% population growth between the years 2000 and 2020. And it would make a lot of sense where a lot of folks have moved out of the city of Milwaukee and into Oak Creek. You know, we've lost tremendous population in the city of Milwaukee. Let me just do a little side note on that to give people a little more perspective on representation or the lack thereof. Sometimes you may feel like your services are not being delivered. Maybe the snow is not being plowed quick enough. Who knows? Maybe your garbage doesn't get picked up on a regular schedule. Maybe if there's a street light, it's burned out. And, of course, potholes, which not entirely fair to blame elected officials. I know that we got to blame somebody when you hit a pothole. But we have these freeze and thaw cycles because you live in the upper Midwest and you can't really defeat physics. It's always going to win. So, yes, of course, every year we're going to have to do some road repair, not to mention the damage that is done when a 7, 10, 15-ton snowplow slams down on the concrete and gets the snow out of the way so that we have passable roads. So potholes are a very big deal. We'll complain about them, but at the same time, you gotta call them in. 286-CITY, or call your alderperson. Call some damn body. Don't just complain about them because they actually are. They're relatively good. Now, they're still going to be filling potholes deep into the summer, but if we are reporting them, they're going to get put on a list of priorities. So if you see a pothole, by all means, please call 286-CITY to report it. But in Milwaukee, so when I started in, I guess, community organizing, even before I got involved in politics professionally, we had 17 council members. We have 15 now. While the reduction is small, it is significant. Think about racially, the demographic change from, I think the 2000 census was the last one in which we had 17 alders. Shortly thereafter, we lost so much population that we went down to 15 aldermanic districts. In fact, Willie Hines was the last alderman of the 17th aldermanic district. It is now the 15th aldermanic district where Russell Stamper is currently the incumbent. So losing 2 alderpersons, losing 2 offices, 2 aldermanic offices, losing 2 districts means there are less legislative representatives for people in the city of Milwaukee. And as Milwaukee has lost overall population to the suburbs or other cities or other states, the minority population, especially the black population in Milwaukee, has gone up. And you know that we are service dependent. The black community is. At least the black community that lives in the city of Milwaukee is probably more service dependent than, say, people that live in Dodge County or people that live in Germantown or any other point outside in the exurbs. And by having less council members and less aldermanic districts and less alder persons and less people on the ballot, that's less representation for a growing African-American population that is city service dependent. So some of what we are seeing, and I hear it in the terms of frustration, people are very frustrated that services aren't being delivered and their alder persons aren't responsive. Imagine if we had 2 more members of the council. That would make all the difference in the world. But because we are losing population in this city, and I'll let you pick a reason, even though I think Milwaukee punches well above its weight in a whole bunch of categories, including arts, culture, and entertainment. If your schools are bad, you're not going to get young families. You're just not. And if the crime rate is high for a smaller city, it's going to be a real tough sell for someone to consider moving to the city of Milwaukee as opposed to literally anywhere else, especially if you're African American. And one of the ways in which we suffer is that there are entrepreneurial African Americans all over this country with an outright refusal to locate here. And I don't blame them. So the opportunities for a growing black population in this city exist more robustly outside of this city. Quite honestly, outside of the state. Because if you are an entrepreneur, and I think that most folks who want a better community, who want a safer community, who want higher levels of employment, you're on basically the demand side. You're demanding all of these things. Well, the supply side, which is the actual businesses, they're going to look at the levels of education coming out of the public schools. Because a business will say, look, I'm going to be in Milwaukee forever. We're going to relocate there. We're going to move our corporate headquarters there. We're going to be there for a long time. Who is our future workforce? You begin with the publicly available data from the public school system. This is why I always harp on education. It is harming us in ways that we don't necessarily see because we want people here to have the good jobs, to pay the good money so you can buy yourself a house in Oak Creek, which is now they're moving forward with an affordable housing development in the city of Oak Creek. We want people to be able to enjoy a nice, comfortable, and cozy lifestyle in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, in southeastern Wisconsin, et cetera, but not if our public school system is producing the results that it is. So it's like this double-edged sword. We might be short on high-paying jobs in the city like we had a couple of generations ago, and they're not likely to come because if someone's going to invest tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in being an employer in this area, in building a new facility or renovating an old facility and doing all of the hiring that you need to do and then getting their production online, that's a sizable investment. Now, the city will likely be very helpful in this company that wants to make such a sizable investment, but our raw materials, which are our workers, are vastly undereducated. Now, what will happen is the business may still come, but the workers will be from Racine or Waukesha County or Dodge County or Ozaukee County or Washington County, and we don't want that, but it happens all of the time. Jobs will be created here in this city for Milwaukee residents. We're not qualified for them. We don't have the education. We don't have the resume. We don't have the skill set. And those jobs are going to get filled. They're just not going to be filled by us. So you're going to see people exploiting and taking advantage of the employment opportunities in the city of Milwaukee, and then they're going to go somewhere else when they go home at night. Oak Creek will soon be home to the first suburban affordable housing subdivision in all of Milwaukee County. That's according to Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, who announced the project at a news conference in Oak Creek City Hall on April 13th, so yesterday. Crowley, whose name is spelled wrong in this Journal Sentinel article, said that the project has been years in the making with the goal of helping more families become homeowners. They're doing something very unique here in Oak Creek, and I want you all to take notice of it. The 50-home project is called Garden Medley Estates. Well, that's a fancy, aristocratic-sounding name for some low-income housing, but wait until you hear what the income has to be to live there. Garden Medley Estates and will encompass 2 county-owned parcels of land at 3810 East American Avenue and 9050 South Annette Place in Oak Creek, according to city documents. District 17 County Supervisor Steve Taylor, who represents Oak Creek and a portion of Franklin, said it's always great to have something that's the biggest. The Milwaukee County Department of Health and Human Services proposed the subdivision on just over 22 acres of county-owned land. Milwaukee County partnered with Habitat for Humanity and Oak Creek High School's student construction program. Bingo. Night Construction is the name of the construction program, probably giving respect to the fact that the mascot at the Oak Creek High School are the Knights. They're partnering with kids in the high school to build the affordable housing units in the suburb of Oak Creek. A lot of you all have talked about the importance of the trades, not just you all, and I give you a tremendous amount of credibility when you talk about the trades. Some of the titans of the AI industry basically said, we're going to replace every job that's not a trade. And so now you have Oak Creek High School students who are going to build it. The school, they said, is going to build one home per year minimum, where the students are going to lead the construction. So they are doing what a lot of us wish that we could do right now in the Milwaukee public school system, something that used to happen some time ago, where you could get a tremendous trade education if you went to Bradley Tech or a few other schools in the MPS system. But all of those trade-focused programs have been essentially evaporated because of reading and testing and all the scores that need to improve. So all of those additional academic opportunities, especially the trades, have been evaporated. I'm going to take a break, come back, talk about a partnership to build affordable housing in Oak Creek that's going to include high school students. But that's how you get buy-in from the community. Because if you tell your regular, average, probably conservative Oak Creek resident that, oh, you're going to have an affordable housing subdivision in your community, they probably would say no until they hear that the kids at Oak Creek High School will be building those houses, because that's going to give those kids a skill. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
This April, it's Financial Literacy Month on 1017 The Truth, powered by UW Credit Union. Financial literacy isn't just about money. It's about confidence and making smart decisions for your future. UW Credit Union is here to help with free tools, expert guidance, and resources. From budgeting tips to one-on-one financial coaching and self-guided lessons you can access anytime. Because they're not a bank, they're a partner in your financial journey. Learn more at uwcu.org.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, groceries, laundry, diapers, work, carpool schedules, picture day, swim team, did we mention diapers, birthday parties, meal prep, lost permission slips, dentist appointments, and the dog that still needs to be walked. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Oh, wait, since when are candles not on the baking aisle? But never happens. And temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you, and every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Today is 414 Day in the city of Milwaukee. It's a day in which we commemorate the area code of the city and celebrate all things Milwaukee. Gave a big old healthy list of different things that are going on, different attractions, lower cost admissions, whether it be the Harley-Davidson Museum or the Domes in Potawatomi, hotel, bingo, and casinos. Got a whole bunch of things going on. The Harley-Davidson Museum is also having a 4.14-pound broad eating contest. So for those of you that can choke down a lot of sausage, you could potentially be a contender. Oh, I know someone who can choke down a lot of sausage. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hello, Sherwin. You know, affordability. You know, we're going to always, the United States is going to always go back to shelter, food, and health care. It has to be affordable. Now, something happened to me.
I bet.
Yesterday. That, you know, I'm always open to learning. And I just learned something yesterday. It tripped me out. You know, I drove on a plane. I rode on a plane one time. And that's the last time I rode on a plane.
Where'd you go?
I'm not knocking it.
Where'd you go, Bob?
Eastern Illinois University. My coach, you know, wanted to tease me to come down there, and he had a plane, and he drove me on it. And that was the first and last time I flew on a plane. And I never went to Eastern Illinois University, but I accept that summer, you know.
So like your coach had a small, like, single-engine plane that you got on? You've never flown on a commercial airline?
Never. No, I don't go on no helicopters. The bus, the car, and the train is as far as I go.
Bob,
I'm not knocking anybody.
Bob, where's the furthest you've traveled away from either Wisconsin or Illinois? What's the furthest?
Texas, a few places, but I'm not into going different.
How did you get to Texas?
Oh, I drove, man. I love Chicago. I don't have to go too far. I love Milwaukee and Wisconsin, you know. But what I learned yesterday was the different characteristics of bravery. There's no way I'd go around the moon 3 times and back. They had to be brave. And now I get to you. You're brave also, although you aggravate me, but you're brave. How are you brave? You don't say, you said Mexicans, most Mexicans don't like blacks. You talk about black women and black men, the way you feel about it, you know, and, you know, it takes, and then you talk about Trump on the platform that you're on. You do have a platform, even though, you know, the listeners and the callers are the real heart of a radio, and then the radio, and then the host, you know. But, you know, so your brain is different characteristics of bravery. Because I know
Bob.
I'm brave.
Thank you. That's very complimentary for you to say. I wish that you would travel more. In fact, I would love it if you also went to the moon. That would. Stay there.
Talk to you later, sir.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Okay. You know what that reminded me of? Really, every other call that we get where people just speak whatever they're thinking, and sometimes they speak before they think, is that Bob was talking about the bravery it took for the Artemis mission to circle around the moon, and I just kept thinking that I wanted to call Bob a moon cricket.
Yeah, I didn't. What did that have to do about affordability or affordable housing?
Know. It doesn't. Don't try to make sense of it. It's he speaks in non sequiturs, so he'll say something about the weather, and then talk about gambling, and then he'll talk about his children, and then he'll talk about how he used to play the saxophone when he was 17. So don't try to follow him, because you're going to get lost, because he's lost. But we love Bob very much. One day, God forbid, we might all be Bob. I might call a radio station one day and talk to the host. Hey, host, shut up. You're brave. The moon. What? I like to gamble. I loves to chase women. That's what I will be saying one day when I call a talk radio show. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. Going to pick up on Oak Creek, creating affordable housing on county-owned land. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth Business Spotlight with Sweet Talks Med and Spa this Thursday at 3:57 p.m. between the Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be joined by Operations Manager Maddie, who will discuss Sweet Talks Med and Spa's non-surgical anti-aging and wellness treatments and how every service is customized to fit your individual needs. Again, that is the Business Spotlight this Thursday with Sweet Talks Med and Spa at 3:57 p.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. Locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Today is 414 Day in the city of Milwaukee, and I'm discussing topics that impact us specifically and uniquely here in the Milwaukee area. I can recall a time, long time ago, where the 414 area code stretched to Green Bay. Y'all remember that? It might have gone further than that. It did. It was basically the entire eastern shore of the state of Wisconsin up and through the Fox Valley. Can you imagine that? The 920 area code, which is now the Green Bay, Fox Valley area. I'm not sure how far north it goes. Probably pretty close to Michigan, the Upper Peninsula border. Was in the 90s. I was in like high school, and it was a whole like ad campaign, TV commercials. Hey, everybody, people won't be able to call you anymore because if you live in these specific areas, you're going to have a new area code. You got to think about communication was different back then because now you can email people, you can send an automated text message, you can have ads that show up on their Instagram feeds and little pre-roll videos before they click on their favorite YouTube videos. Back then, advertising a brand new area code took television advertising, television and radio, and the slogan, I'll never forget it because I thought it was stupid. Get to know 920. Shut up. Nobody wants to get to know 920. But the 414 area code used to extend. I'm glad it's just Milwaukee. Racine and Kenosha used to be 414. Washington County, Waukesha County, all those are 262 now. I don't know when they added 262. But I'm glad that 414 is specifically, if I'm not mistaken, 414 is just Milwaukee, right? I don't think there are any parts of Milwaukee County that have a 262 area code. But what happens, though, because it's kind of confusing, people will get a cell phone from a place that's in a 262 area code. Let's say you got your cell phone in Germantown, but then you may move to Milwaukee, so you technically live in Milwaukee, but you have a 262 area code. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to waste any keystrokes looking this up, but I think the city of Milwaukee is the only place that still has a 414 area code. However, I digress. The Milwaukee County Department of Health and Human Services proposed the subdivision on just over 22 acres of county-owned land, talking about I can't call it low income, but an affordable housing development in the city of Oak Creek, which is about 90+% Caucasian. And they are, I guess, allowing or permitting or not stopping. There's no major protest to this affordable housing development being built in Oak Creek. Now, the land is owned by the county, and they're calling it the Garden Medley Estates. Now, when you hear that, you don't think low income. Some may say, what's in a name? A lot, because whenever I hear the term estates, I think, oh, upper crust, upper class, very wealthy. No, it's affordable housing being built in Oak Creek, which is a relatively wealthy suburb in the southeastern part of Milwaukee County, southeastern, southwestern, southeastern. Let's see what we got here. Quote, "This is what it looks like to lift up our community," County Executive David Crowley said, adding that there needs to be more partnerships like this. So they're partnering with the local high school, Oak Creek High School. And the students at Oak Creek High School are going to participate in building at least one of these housing units per year, which is going to give the young people at Oak Creek High School real hands-on experience in a building trade, and then they'll be able to take pride in saying, hey, when I was in high school, I helped to build that house. The homes are expected to be around 1,200 square feet. That is not big. City documents note that lots range in size from 8,120 square feet to 22,976 square feet. That actually is big. Jim Matthey, housing administrator with the Department of Health and Human Services, said the homes are estimated to cost between, here's the affordable part. Are you ready for this? This is what affordable housing is in Oak Creek, between $225,000 and $250,000. $250,000. That's affordable housing. Now, this is on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. I think that they are playing a little bit of a trick on us, because when you think affordable housing, you think Section 8, the housing, the mortgage will be based on a percentage of your income. These houses are only affordable to a certain select group of people. If you can afford a $250,000 house, which, relatively speaking, with housing prices being what they are, is reasonable, but it's not affordable. But someone who wants to live in Oak Creek, the price of entry has been dramatically lowered, because think about what you're getting for that $250,000. You probably won't have to send your child to a private school because you don't like the output of the public school system. So you're saving money on private school tuition, which is a big one. You are getting manicured parks. You're getting boulevards. Now, I don't really follow local Oak Creek politics. Why would I? But to the best of my knowledge, Oak Creek ain't never had a neighborhood cleanup, so you're getting a cleaner neighborhood. And I'd imagine, and again, I haven't checked these demographics out, I'll leave that for you all to do, because I try and give you guys a little homework when you listen to my show. Go do some of this looking up of the statistics and the data on your own. I'd imagine it's relatively low crime. It's probably not crime-free, but if you want to enjoy those kinds of amenities, and that is the very unique thing about southeastern Wisconsin, or really any metro area. Sometimes living in a neighborhood or a community where poverty is higher and crime is higher is expensive, because you're going to be paying more for your car insurance. You're going to be paying more for homeowners insurance. There are associated costs in living in a neighborhood that is wrought with poverty. Your amenities are not going to be as nice. The schools are probably not going to be very high performing. But if you can afford the cost of entry, you literally can buy a better life. Now, it's not going to make you a better person, but for that additional money, $250,000 for a house, you're avoiding a whole bunch of headache. I'm not saying life is going to be headache-free, but sometimes you get what you pay for. The parcel of undeveloped agricultural land was tax foreclosed. Environmental test shows it's clean. Site preparation will start by the end of the summer, and Matthey estimated construction will begin promptly in 2027. Matthey noted that the project is getting federal funding, and no Oak Creek money is going towards the affordable housing units being built. County Executive Crowley highlighted working together with Senator Tammy Baldwin to secure $7 million in federal funding for the project. Get this. Who can apply to purchase these homes? Here's the good part. So if you want to live in affordable housing units being built brand new from scratch in Oak Creek on some county-owned land, they're going to range in price between $225,000 and $250,000. Houses are going to average about 1,200 square feet. That ain't that big. Hell, my house is 1,700. David Crowley broke down ownership requirements, saying owners must be at or below 80% of the median area household income, not 80% of the poverty line, 80% of the median household income. The county executive said you need to make $80,000 a year to be able to. So if you make $80,000 a year, now it depends on your family size now. $80,000 for a single person with no kids in Milwaukee or in southeastern Wisconsin, you're doing all right. But they're saying $80,000 for a family of three. So there'll be a mother and a father each making $40,000, and then they would have one child. But to be able to qualify, and I guarantee you the waiting list is going to be insanely long. So $80,000 per year for a family of three to qualify or to get on a list to get one of these homes where construction will start promptly in the year 2027. Let's talk to someone who I think is a local expert on affordable housing. Hello, Al. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. It sounds like a scam to me. That sounds like no different than that low-income housing that they're going to throw up right behind Trade Hotel downtown in the Deers District. But what I find to be so funny is they're doing their way of trying to bring a certain class and a certain standard to certain communities. Because, see, when we think about Titonia and Valita and Fond du Lac, when we think about the low-income housing that's going to be at Midtown, at Walmart, when we think about how you got McKinley Gardens over there on McKinley, when you think about the 3rd and Burleigh all the way to Locust and King, and don't forget the low income they did over there on 32nd and Center that feels like the factory is still up in there. They did it at a certain vibration. Because, everything to the north side is done with a low vibration. It's like take what we give you in word and be settled with it. But, see, when it's out there, it's done with a certain class and a certain class. See, that's why you got to be careful when they give you a glass of water, because sometimes the glass is dirty, but the water is supposedly clean. I just wanted to, call it out. It sounds like something is stanky, tanky, hanky, panky that's going on, because I thought he would have said that downtown. When Malay
Al, your phone is breaking
Cavalier.
up on us.
Hello?
It's much better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't say that about the low income that's going to be downtown in the Deer District. And they got low income right across the street on, I think it's 4th and McKinley.
That's Hillside. But is the Deer District, and I haven't looked into it, is it low income or is it affordable? Because affordable might mean the apartments are $1,700 as opposed to $3,000 with some of the other apartments and condos that are in that area. So there's a difference, and I think they do a little word trickery. Low income is one thing. Low income is Section 8. Low income is if you make $1,000 a month, you're only paying $300 or 30% of your income. Affordable means it is less than what the market rate is, but you still have to have a high income to qualify. Background check, credit check, et cetera, et cetera. So there is a difference, and I highly doubt they're putting low income housing in the Deer District, but you may know better than me. I'll look into it.
And I think what I was going to say is that if you want to see the difference, pay attention to the cars in the parking lot and you'll see. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
But I'm going to call them out. Have a good day.
You too, Al. Affordable is more keeping the neighborhood and its demographics essentially intact. Low income is a whole nother thing. Low income is like Section 42, IRS code, tax credits, where if an apartment building is built with these IRS Section 42 tax credits, then you have a certain number of Section 8 people that have units available in a very, very otherwise expensive apartment complex. Affordable just means we're going to make it 10, 20, 15% less expensive than the existing units, but you still got to have an $80,000 a year income to qualify. One of the reasons why housing prices have gone through the roof is because during COVID, 30-year mortgage rates got down to their lowest level probably in history. And a lot of people refinance their homes at a 2% interest rate, meaning they are saving, in some cases, hundreds of dollars per month on their mortgage. It's some people that live in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses that are paying $1,100, $1,200, maybe $1,300 a month for their mortgage. If they were to sell that house, and those houses are worth substantially more now than they were when they refinanced, they might sell that house and cash out and have several $100,000 in equity. But the next house that they buy and finance, that interest rate is going to be 3 times what they are paying. And no one wants to sell their house, even with the promise of that equity that you may have in your house, which in some cases is several $100,000. If your equity in your home is not enough for you to purchase your next home in cash, people are staying exactly where they're at. It's a supply and demand thing. There is a tremendous demand for housing, but the people that have the houses are not selling them, and I don't think they're going to be selling them for the foreseeable future until interest rates come down. But with, let's just say, an unpredictable economy, Interest rates are not likely to come down anytime soon. Take a break, come back. What else? I got some more Milwaukee. Oh, I got a doozy for you. How do you guys feel about universal basic income? Just give people some money. No strings attached. They don't have to tell you what they're doing with the money, how they're spending the money, just to give money to people. Now, you have to have something a little bit more specific. What if there was a program that gave money to single mothers? Again, no strings attached. We're not asking them what they're spending the money on, but we're just going to basically give them a stipend for new mothers, for women that already have children. Doesn't even matter what their family situation is. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing? Because remember, we have an affordability crisis. And isn't a reasonable way to tackle the affordability crisis is just to give people money? Well, we have a program that is being launched here in Milwaukee. I think the only other places this program exists, I know it exists in New York and maybe one other city, where they are experimenting with this thing called the Bridge Project, where we are giving mothers X amount of dollars per month for the first 1,000 days of their newborn child's life. I'm going to talk about that on the other side, because that program is either on its way or it has arrived here in the city of Milwaukee. What could possibly go wrong? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's that time again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we come together to clean up the city of Milwaukee. Be part of making a difference in our community. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 18th, 8 to noon. Sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, Waste Management, and presented by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, your clean water partner, serving Greater Milwaukee for 100 years.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Uh-oh. Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flysshf.org and ask for an application.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Monthly cash payments Are helping Milwaukee mothers support their families is the headline, and the story appears in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Before I get into the details of it, and I'm going to give you the details, it reminds me of a program that existed probably just post World War II and ended probably in the early or mid 1990s, and it was Wisconsin's version of welfare and how we administered it. And the version of welfare that we had that eventually grew politically and then socially unpopular caused some problems. Our neighboring states, Michigan to our north and east, Indiana to our southeast, Chicago to our direct south, all reformed their administration of welfare programs. So there's an allocation of federal dollars for poor individuals, usually single mothers with children. And then states would figure out, how do we best administer these federal anti-poverty dollars and programs to the residents of our state and those that qualify. And some of it will be in the form of maybe energy assistance, maybe rent assistance, maybe food assistance, but also direct payments, cash payments. I think one of the programs was called TANF, Temporary Aid for Needy Families, or something thereabout. So in Wisconsin, just like Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois, qualified individuals, typically single mothers with children, would qualify for a whole host of benefits, including cash payments. Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois decided not a good idea because we need people in the workforce. It's not encouraging productivity. We're starting to see shortages in what? Healthcare. Think about how many women used to be on welfare, and now you see them wearing scrubs because they were required, if they wanted to get maybe reduced or lower cost college tuition or childcare, they had to go to work. And they were forced into fields in which we still see major shortages right now. But the number of women that you see wearing scrubs, black women in particular, skyrocketed because when we reformed our welfare system, you were required to work at least a little bit part-time, you see. But Wisconsin was the last state of that grouping of states that I listed in the upper Midwest to reform its welfare program. We were still giving cash payments to mothers. And I'm not saying that the program on its face wasn't a good one, because it also is reminiscent of, there was a time in which mamas actually did stay home with their kids. They did. They raised the kids. All the generations of America, up until fairly recently, until both parents entered the workforce, probably en masse in the 1970s and the 1980s, because you needed two incomes to sustain yourself, let alone a family. But these programs harken back to the mama should be at home raising the kids. And maybe it's horrible and stereotypical, but it's a way that America produced the output of family. Mom stayed home with the kids, dad went out and worked. When dad either lost his job because of deindustrialization, or dad lost his job because of factory closures, or whatever case, maybe he's in jail, maybe the factory or the company relocated or downsized or moved to Mexico. Now the dad is out of work, leaving the mother, assuming that the marriage is also dissolved, because money is the number one issue why marriage is dissolved. Now it leaves this mother to take care of her kids in order to maintain that cultural and generational familiarity where mom is at home raising the kids. Well, just give mama a check. Just give her some money, and the more kids she has, the more money you give her. Now it's a decreasing slope. Let's say it's $1,000 a month for your first child. Your second child will be $800. Your third child will be $500, et cetera, et cetera. I guess your 38th child, you get 11 cents, or whatever the scale was. But what we found here in Wisconsin, and we still complain about it to this day, and I reference this often. When the welfare systems were reformed in Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois, to where those mothers now had to work, they could not just get a check per child from the state. they all relocated to Wisconsin, where we were still giving out checks per child. All the other states had reformed. And we had plenty of low-income housing to boot. In fact, North Meadows, which they called a low-income condominium experiment, that and Jesse Anderson is what closed Northridge. In offering people low-income housing, this is back in the late 80s and the early 1990s, prior to Wisconsin reforming its welfare system, we relocated people from the Brewers Hill neighborhood, which is now a neighborhood full of six-figure houses and then some. But they were relocated out to the far northwest side of the city of Milwaukee. And I want you to look at that area now. It is the land that time forgot. We're talking about an area that can't even keep a damn Red Lobster open. They couldn't even keep the Olive Garden open. There used to be a damn Olive Garden on 87th and Brown Deer Road. Damn Olive Garden went to Menominee Falls. The Target closed. The Walgreens closed. Everything. Northridge closed. That whole area, the northwest side of the city of Milwaukee, used to be thriving, but these low-income condominium experiments that really started about 91st and Brown Deer Road and go as far west to 96th and Allen and 97th and Brown Deer Road, just some of the worst neighborhoods in the city of Milwaukee. And I'm sorry if you live there, but you already know that. There is nothing out there. When that anchor of Northridge closed, so went the car dealerships, so went the restaurants. They closed the damn grocery store. Of course, they closed the grocery store. Used to be a Kohl's food store right there. Used to be a Chi-Chi's over there. Used to be all sorts of things. It is gone. Used to be a ground round restaurant. You remember the ground round restaurant where kids walk into the ground round restaurant and the kids would step on a scale and the kids paid what they weigh? Well, not me, because I was a fat kid, so it didn't make no sense. You put me on a scale, they charge me more than the adults. What we saw in that neighborhood was some fundamental changes, and not just there, other parts of the north side of the city of Milwaukee where these people who would move, the worst of the worst, the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, from Michigan, including Detroit, from Indiana, including Gary, and Chicago, which goes without saying, were relocating here to the city of Milwaukee. When those women were relocating here to take advantage of our welfare system that had not yet been reformed, because these women were still getting welfare checks, and the more kids they had, the more money they got, guess what they brought? Their uncles, their fathers, and their baby daddies. And those men that they brought, because remember, they had housing, they had low-income housing they could stay in, and the mother was getting guaranteed income based on the number of children. They brought their dope-dealing uncles, fathers, and baby daddies with them, and then we see this major transformation. All at the same time, crack is hitting the streets. It was a perfect storm. So now you have a mainstay of income and a roof over your head because of Wisconsin's unreformed welfare system. Now you're getting crack dealers from Detroit, from Gary, Indiana, and Chicago now coming and following the women and their welfare qualifications to the city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee was a street drug dealing town. Bought your dope off the street. A little fella there on the corner looking kind of shady and shifty. That was the dope man. Here's how we know the culture in Milwaukee changed because of those people from Detroit, from Gary, Indiana, and from Chicago. All Rust Belt cities, formerly industrial cities with great factory employment. When those factory jobs went away and crack came in, well, that's a no-brainer, right? Now we start to see the proliferation of drug houses, selling dope out of abandoned houses. Milwaukee was never like that until those individuals came. And the crime culture that they brought changed this city forever, and I think it still impacts us right now. I said all that to say this. They're bringing that damn program back to where qualifying single mothers will be able to get a no-questions-asked financial stipend. Do you know what kind of people that's going to also bring to live in the houses with those women? Because now they're getting money. Not to mention they might qualify for low-income housing, which clearly we don't like. We are seeing a repeat of history. But it may not be what you think, because I also have some demographic data. You know that black women are having less children than every other race? Did you know that? They talk about the decline in births in America. You know that's led by black women? While white women are having less children as well, their decline is like 0.5%. With black women, it's 6 or 7%. Is a decline, and it's getting even more steep. I think that they are bringing this program back to where single mothers can get these cash stipends to help take care of their kids, because there will be more white single mothers because their birth rate, while it's declining less than African American and Hispanic and Asian birth rates. So I'm going to explain all of that on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Around 4 years ago, when Natasha Hole lost her partner of 7 years to gun violence, she made a promise to him that she would go back to school and work towards creating a better life for their children. But with 4 kids all under the age of 14 and one on the way, Hole said many financial roadblocks stood in her path. I'm not judging this lady, but she had 4 with the fella. He passed away from gun violence, and then she had another one? It's a rhetorical question. Please, nobody answer it. Why do y'all keep having... Is that rude to ask? Because it's a choice. The stork, and I'm not shaming this woman, but I think it's one of those topics that we're afraid to talk about. Why are people that are least likely to be able to afford their children having more children? Because It's real preventable, and it's a choice. It is a choice. The stork doesn't come and drop kids off and be like, hi, person with no children. Here's 4 of them. You now have 4 kids. We can look at all sorts of different reasons why, but it just... Birth control is available for everybody pretty much for free. There is some education about reproduction in schools. I don't know the status of it. But even if someone is not very informed, just visually you can see people. It might be members of your own family, and you witness how they struggle to afford life, especially when affordability is a leading political talking point, and people just... Again, I'm not shaming this woman, but people are making a choice to put themselves in dire financial straits unless your kids are going to be ball players. Which, let me be clear, statistically they're not going to be. But if they are, maybe you get lucky and you get $1 million kid. But why on earth are people that are... Like Elon Musk having 10 or 14 kids makes sense. Nick Cannon, even though I don't think Nick Cannon was that rich. Nick Cannon meets women and gets them pregnant on the first date. But whatever, he can afford them. That's the part that it confuses me, because now we have to go above and beyond to make sure that individuals that have a bunch of kids that they can't afford, we got to make sure that they have benefits and they qualify for housing assistance and food assistance and energy assistance and all the assistance possible because they chose to have a bunch of children. And with the more children that you have, the harder it is to give them the specialized care and attention that they need. And we know that children who are neglected go to school and sometimes they act out. And we know sometimes they don't perform well academically. Because we could eliminate a lot of problems. And also some of those kids, when they're in the household of a single mother, and I'm not saying bad things about single moms, but sometimes you're not raising your sons, or you're not raising those boys to be men that other women will want and value. You're supposed to raise them boys so they can get married off. Some of these women, I'm starting to sound like I'm anti-woman, but I'm talking about behavior. We have to talk about behavior because some people think that certain stuff is just okay because we refuse to talk about it. Some of these women have these kids, women that have boys, raise those boys not to be a good daddy. If you wanted your boy to be a good daddy, you give him a doll to play with. Oh, but you won't do that because you don't want him to be gay. But you don't raise these boys to go be good providers, good fathers, and good husbands. Some of these women raise these boys to be the man that never leaves his mama. Because one thing that women will say out here in the dating world, ooh, they hate a mama's boy. But it wasn't even his fault. He was raised to never leave his mama. Because every other man left her. But she's going to make sure her son is dependent on her. It's a whole mess. And then you have this whole emotional incest thing. I've even told my stories about that, how I was dating this girl and she would consult with her 11-year-old son on what she should wear going out with me. Why is you involving a child in your personal dating life? Man, listen, if I could tell y'all the rest of these stories, you wouldn't believe it. I got to write a book one day. Tell. One day I'm going to write a book. Got these mamas sitting down with their 11, 12, 13-year-old boys talking about their dating life. Well, your mom really likes this guy. Well, you wouldn't mind if he came over tonight after our date, would you, son? What? I cannot imagine being a teenage boy or even a preteen boy at an age where you know what sex is, and then seeing my mama with different men. And then crying over those men, okay, then getting a new man, and then hearing my mama get her back blown out by a different dude. There's no way you're not screwed up as a son. There's no way you're growing up normal. It's not possible. To see your mother or to hear your mother get tossed like a salad by a dude she met at the club, I see why some of these little boys is killers and why they hate other men and other boys. Whew. Enough of that. Don't get me on that rant.
Were you that strange man?
Yeah, more times than I can count.
Jeez.
The number of See, women lie. The number of times a woman, there have been times where, so when I used to try to date on the internet, which is gross and it's all screwed up now because now it's all algorithmic and commercialized. Meeting somebody on a dating site, if you meet somebody on a dating site and you form a relationship with them, you're lucky. The whole point is to get addicted to dating sites. Like people are addicted to Instagram and to Facebook and to Snapchat and all the other social media. Because if you get on a dating site and you meet your match, then you're not going to be on the dating site anymore, and their subscription model is not going to work. The point is to keep you hooked and addicted. Oh, I got to check my messages. I got to see who might have hit me up on my dating app. But the number of times that women will offer a man to come to their house on a first date is staggering. Well, my kids go to bed at 9. Normal, regular women, corporate women sometimes. Well, I don't want to go out and I don't feel like going. How about you just come over and we just hang out at the house? Sometimes I've had to say no because that creeps me out. First of all, why do you want a man that you don't know to know where you live and sleep with your kids? Because imagine if he's a weirdo. And he probably is. That's just, I've never understood that.
You date a lot of moms, it sounds like.
They're all moms. My generation, even younger. Now, there's a little bit less now, but I come from an era where teen pregnancy was a thing. Teen pregnancy in Milwaukee didn't start declining until 2007. So think about my era. In 2007, I was 32. So damn near everybody I had to choose from was a teenage mom. And it came with the territory. Let's talk to Millicent. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I am doing well. You know what, Sherwin? Today you said what I say all the time. Women are they're not raising men, they're raising their man.
Yep.
You have to get out of that. The number one thing is we say she needs help. She's a single mother, but that was a choice. You had all of those babies by choice. And you don't now get to expect us to step up to help you because you made bad choices. And we need to understand that. That is the number one problem. People have made bad choices, and now you want someone to come save you from your bad choice. That's not how the world works. And then we'll say, oh, but we got to help the kids. She ain't helping the kids. Your son can't read, but you got your nails and hair done. The time at the shop should have been with a book. You said something the other day. How can a woman teach her kids how to read if she can't read? She shouldn't have had kids. That's where it comes from. If you can't take care of yourself, why are you bringing someone else here? That is the question we need to ask. That is the question. And then maybe people will say, oh, I don't know. Maybe I better not do this no more. Maybe I better not follow behind my mother and start having kids at an early age that I can't take care of. We got to start asking them questions. And we don't. And we try to make it as if, oh, the community, something in the world, America is hurting these people. No, y'all hurting yourselves. You didn't have to have kids. That was your choice. Now you have to figure it out. It's not for everybody else to figure it out. Have a good day.
Thank you, Millicent. Appreciate your call. The Bridge Project is a program that provides expecting mothers with cash during pregnancy and the first 1,000 days of their baby's life with no strings attached. I don't want to say that this is encouraging women that are not in a financial situation to afford a child to have them. But this program does not discourage it. And it may not be very many listeners of this program, but there are people that exist that will hear about a program like this that says, if I have a baby, they're going to give me cash for the first 1,000 days of my baby's life until that baby is 3 years old, damn near. There are some people that say, oh, I want a baby and I can get paid to have one. Now, remember, some of these people that may have that mindset, no, it may not be a lot of you, but you all know somebody. They probably are not very financially fluent. They're probably not very good with their money and probably make other considerable bad life choices and plenty of mistakes. And now, because of this program, I'm just thinking critically about the program because I've seen something like this before. When women are able to get money based upon the children and the number of children that they have, there's an element that sometimes comes with that. And because this program is so hands off, it's so it's no strings attached. I think that's what the problem is. Because whoever these individuals are, and God bless them, and a lot of them are philanthropic donors, they may not be aware of the history, or maybe they are aware of it, of the damage that can be done. Because if you know that this baby mama got money coming in until the first 1,000 days of this child's life, and then she gets pregnant again and gets pregnant again and gets pregnant again, then the men that she could potentially bring around very well may take advantage of her and the fact that she has income coming in, allowing for him to supplement the income with extracurricular activities. That's how the crack epidemic impacted people the worst. When I talked about the crack epidemic, it didn't kill that many people. People think, oh, the crack epidemic was so terrible. It was more cultural de-evolution and incarceration. The crack epidemic killed like 5,000 people. The opioid crisis killed 100,000 people every single year, because I did a show where I compared the two, because we're talking about, oh, the crack epidemic was so deadly. No, it wasn't. It brought an element of people to the city of Milwaukee that further devolved our culture here in the city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee's black community used to be tight-knit. You know what our biggest problem used to be? The police, not one another. And I remember that time. Now it's each other, because a lot of these folks, they come from other places. They come from Wayne County, which is Detroit. They come from Gary, Indiana, and they come from All Points, Chicago. They came here to take advantage of our unreformed welfare system, and the criminal cultural element that they brought is infecting us to this day, several generations later. And I got a problem with it. If I see this bridge project, now this is me being critical of the project. I'm not telling the curators of the project to stop. It's just that we've seen this movie before. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship, because that for them is free.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
April is Global Volunteer Month. Wisconsin's volunteers are transforming our communities every day through their acts of service. Wondering how you can give back? Find the perfect volunteer opportunities at volunteerwisconsin.org or contact your local United Way or volunteer center. On volunteerwisconsin.org, you can filter opportunities by location, organization, cause, accessibility, and more to find your best fit. VolunteerWisconsin.org is hosted by United Way of Wisconsin and Serve Wisconsin. Paid for by United Way of Wisconsin.
You've been diagnosed with COPD, but breathing seems to be getting harder. Everyday activities, walking to the mailbox, going up the stairs, talking on the phone take more effort than they used to. You're short of breath more often. Flare-ups are happening more frequently. And slowly, life starts to feel smaller. Is this you? If your COPD symptoms are getting worse, there may be options that can help you breathe easier and get back to doing more of what matters to you. That could mean walking further, spending more time with family and friends, feeling more confident leaving the house, and getting back to the life you want to live. If your COPD is changing, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. Visit the COPD Foundation website at isthisyoucopd.org to learn the signs of severe and worsening COPD and the right questions to ask next. Take action today. Breathe better tomorrow.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I went to the Bridge Project's website, and it says, ending childhood poverty one mother at a time. And it shows a picture of a little beautiful little sleeping newborn baby all swaddled up in a blanket. It says, we give babies a better start in life by investing directly in their moms. Unconditional direct cash payments when families need it most. And then if I scroll, it says, because investing in the first 1,000 days changes everything. Baby health, maternal health, household stability, and economic impact. And then, I'm not kidding you, I'm reading this right off the website. Cash makes babies healthier, leading to higher birth weights, longer pregnancies, and 2.5 more months of breastfeeding, giving babies a vital head start. I'm going to get into some more details of this. I think it's sinister because I can give these individuals all of the information and historical facts to show that this is not going to help. Right now, artificial intelligence companies that are building data centers everywhere, whether you like it or not, they're going to build them, are valued at about $20 trillion. Not because they make $20 trillion. Hell, I got several AI clients that I use every so often. I don't pay nothing for them. They're free. But the companies, because they're traded publicly, a lot of them are. ChatGPT is not yet, but when it is, good night. They're valued at $20 trillion. Not because they bring in $20 trillion worth of revenue, because the money that they are going to be able to take from laborers and workers is going to be worth $20 trillion. So why is there a program that's encouraging healthy babies and giving mothers cash in a world in which there will not be jobs for these children? Why are you encouraging? There's going to be some laborers that I think that are going to need to get done. I think what this program is going to do is to ensure that there is a healthy population of people that likely can perform prison labor. The whole point is not to pay us, not to pay you. That's why minimum wage is still $7.25, which is now at this point is laughable. You can't afford to live anywhere in America on $7.25, and literally everybody knows that, including Congress. Poverty can be manipulated because poor people can be told what to do, where to go, how to do it. They can be limited, they can be reduced, and a large majority of them are not politically inclined and they are not voters. I think that they're creating a healthy labor force that will be used for free labor. The reason why minimum wage, there's a bunch of reasons why minimum wage hasn't been raised, because why would I pay you more than $7.25 an hour? And if I keep you poor enough, eventually you're going to go to jail and I can make you work for free or $1 an hour or $1 a day or less. The fact that there's a clause in the 13th that says slavery is prohibited in these United States save for the commission of a crime, that last part, we don't really pay a lot of attention to that last part. Slavery is still not only legal, it's legitimate and it's constitutional. But you got to commit a crime first. Make life more difficult. Make sure interest rates are high. Make sure that certain jobs require, a resume that most people simply cannot get. At the same time, you're discouraging people from going to college. And then we're going to pay women to have babies In a world where people really are not wanting to have babies, I'm going to get to the information, the demographic information on how different racial groups are having less and less children because they can't afford it. Now they're encouraging women to have children. And these are single mamas, by the way. Why would you ever encourage that with cash? And the way it describes on the website, it's like, oh my God, what a beautiful program. You've got pictures. I'm looking at a picture of a beautiful black woman with dreadlocks holding her little black baby. And under this picture of this black woman holding this black baby, no wedding ring nor man in sight. It says, cash makes babies healthier, leading to higher birth weights, longer pregnancies, and 2.5 more months of breastfeeding, giving babies a vital head start. That sounds encouraging. And then it goes, as you scroll, it says, every baby deserves medicines, games, a stroller, toys, diapers. So as I scroll on my scroll wheel on my mouse, it gives me all these different things and these benefits that these babies are going to get. Laughter, safety, a fair chance. It is encouraging single motherhood. Not families. Now, we're going to give families of 3, families of 4, newlywed couples, married couples as a wedding gift or as a promise for the new family. No. This is for single mamas. And we're bringing the project to Milwaukee, and I don't think that this is a very good idea. From the Bridge Project website, it says, since our inception in 2021 as an unconditional cash pilot in New York City, the Bridge Project has grown in scale and scope, steadily expanding our reach and impact on communities across the country. Currently, it's offered in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, Oregon, Nebraska, and the state of Wisconsin. So far, they have 3,900 mothers enrolled. They're serving 12 states, and they have $90 million in the bank to give these stipends out to these single mothers. I'm going to take a break, come back, and talk about the Bridge program right here in the city of Milwaukee. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a fantastic program, or maybe there's something more sinister at play in which we are encouraging single mothers to have babies, and we're going to give them money for the first 1,000 days of that baby's life with no strings attached. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth Business Spotlight with Sweet Talks Med and Spa this Thursday at 3:57 p.m. between the Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be joined by Operations Manager Maddie, who will discuss Sweet Talks Med and Spa's non-surgical anti-aging and wellness treatments and how every service is customized to fit your individual needs. Again, that is the Business Spotlight this Thursday with Sweet Talks Med and Spa at 3:57 p.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tori Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And
what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 414 Day. Talking about local stories on this 414 day, a day that commemorates the area code of Milwaukee, and of course all things Milwaukee. A whole bunch of deals going on around town, including a 4.14 pound bride eating contest at the Harley-Davidson Museum's restaurant Moto. So good luck to whoever can swallow that much sausage. Talking about a program called the Bridge Program, which on its face sounds really nice. It gives money to expecting mothers for the first 1,000 days of their baby's life. And if I go to the website, it paints a very rosy picture of a situation that we know is going to be very tough for a lot of expecting mothers. But the way that they pitch this program, and everybody doesn't qualify for it. They're using a lottery system. So I think that there's something about it just sounds real sinister. And they're expanding it rapidly, and they've got $90 million committed. I'm wondering who these individuals are that are committed to providing these no strings attached stipends to expecting mothers, and what are they ultimately trying to get out of it? Because they're not donating to this for nothing. They're not doing this. You got to understand something about America. Something that sounds really, really good, we know the saying. It's too good to be true. It probably is. They want something out of this. Now, I can understand us wanting to have healthy babies, but are they doing this because they want to reduce the reliance on healthcare costs for babies that are unhealthy? Or because they want to, I don't know, ease the burden as we're moving into a post-industrial, post-technological, post-service industry world? There's something's is going on, because they can't just say, like, oh, we just want the babies to be healthy and we're going to give the moms money. They're investing in something, ladies and gentlemen. Go to the YouTube chat, see what you all are talking about. Miles says, wow, yet we wonder why we rely on technology to teach how to be human. How is technology teaching anybody how to be human, Miles? That sounds like somebody wasn't parented. Then he says, if you have not walked in someone else's shoes, you have no right to speak on their situation. I do if they're members of my community and we need to have critical conversations about the dilapidation of the black community. Yes, I do have the right to speak on it, especially if the mistakes that they make are going to cost all of us, sometimes in terms of lives, sometimes in terms of credibility, and certainly in terms of taxes. So yes, and I think we have gotten to where we are because nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings. I got to have conversations with people several days a week that y'all should have had with your mamas and your daddies, but you never had them, and then you get mad at me when I bring it up. Ain't nobody coming to fix us if we're not having these conversations amongst one another. In fact, they are relying on us to not think critically about the issues impacting the black community, because if we don't, it's going to get worse and they're going to benefit. And also, I'm not all about, like, I can empathize with a person. Somebody can tell me their story and either I get it or I don't, but I don't need to walk in their shoes, probably because their shoes don't even fit them. I know they ain't going to fit me. I ain't got to walk nowhere in nobody's shoes. Let's see what else we got here from the Bridge program. Natasha Hole learned about the Bridge program, the Bridge Project, a program that provides expecting mothers with cash during pregnancy and the first 1,000 days of their baby's life with no strings attached. Hole, or Howell, I might be pronouncing her last name wrong, Houle, Howell, is now halfway through the 3-year program and has moved her family to a safe and quiet neighborhood in Walker's Point. So this is a woman who had 4 children by one man. He passed away. She got pregnant with a 5th. Howell is now halfway through the 3-year program and has moved her family to a safe and quiet neighborhood in Walker's Point. She's enrolled her children in the same school so they can all be together. And she's used the funds to buy supplies for her youngest baby. Keeping her promise to her partner, Cyrus Glaive, Howell has also started working towards a public health degree at Alverno. Quote, before the Bridge Project, it was hard to keep up with the education just because of the unpredicted circumstances or financial strains, she said. Just having that peace of mind is big. Howell is now 1 semester away from graduating and said she hopes to find work in mental health advocacy, helping others navigate grief as she has. And in this picture, she is, who are all these people? That's clearly her mama. So here's her plus, hold on, I'm counting more than 5 kids now. Hey, what am I looking at? What? It's her plus 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting 5 kids, and it looks like she might be pregnant. And also, I don't know when this picture is from. Who is? So that must be her mama. I promise y'all, 3 of these damn kids look the exact same age, and they ain't twins. Howell is a part of the Bridge Project's first cohort of mothers in Milwaukee. The program began in New York in 2021, and in 2024, Milwaukee became the first city outside of New York to adopt the program, according to Leanna Bishop, executive director of the Zilber Family Foundation. That perinatal period in a mom's life is really precarious financially, Bishop said. To be able to provide some of that stability and couple that with resources that the Bridge Project is able to provide in terms of support and connection to other moms, it felt like a really good fit. The foundation has put forward $1,700,000 to fund the program in Milwaukee. The city of Milwaukee itself has allocated $350,000 for the program. And an anonymous donor gave $450,000 in support. Every dollar goes directly to Milwaukee mothers, Bishop said. Who would give $500,000 to this? Am I the only one that's suspicious of this? Let me just be optimistic for a moment. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's wonderful. So I don't know what the dollar amounts are. And I don't know what disqualifies a mother from the program. I know to be qualified, you apply and your name is put in like a hat, and there's a lottery to see who qualifies. But this is a pretty heavy funding stream, and I'm just wondering, like, what is the end game? What are they trying to do? Look, I get it, wanting healthy moms and moms that don't have to worry about money, but it also seems like it is encouraging something that is a bit of a social plague in our society. Single motherhood, it's tough. And to encourage it and to make it more comfortable, because we also had something very similar to this where women were getting cash for every child that they had. Now, with the TANF program and the previous version of the welfare program, the more kids you had, the more money you got. And it brought an element from other states that had already reformed their welfare program. So in Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois, you weren't getting cash payments every single month based on the number of kids that you had. You had to go to work. And you got like a lower price or lower cost of free education. You got free childcare, but you had to actually be in a job. We didn't do that in Wisconsin until 95 or 96. In fact, I don't know if we reformed our welfare system until Bill Clinton reformed welfare by signing a bill into law in 94 or 1995. But those folks that came to Wisconsin, because we were the last state in the upper Midwest to still pay welfare checks, like give welfare checks based on the number of children that a woman had, those women brought drug-dealing men, and the drug they were dealing on the streets of the city of Milwaukee was crack. And a lot of the criminal element that we see right now is reminiscent of, because now those are like grandmamas now, if not great-grandmothers, who came from Chicago and Gary and Detroit, brought their crack-dealing baby daddies here and ruined our city. Milwaukee did not, I promise y'all, it didn't used to be like this. Yeah, we had violence, but not like this. Our biggest problem as a black community was segregation, trying to integrate the schools, getting equal and adequate resources, and having open housing, and the police. Those were our social problems. The social fabric of the city of Milwaukee, the black community, was tight-knit. We have the biggest Juneteenth celebration, the biggest Dr. King celebrations outside of Atlanta, because it's reflective, not because we wanted to mimic Atlanta, but because of the black community and how tight-knit it used to be. That's gone. Let's talk to Kathy. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sherman. You know, you're like a walking encyclopedia, bless you. You know what I'm trying to figure out, you said the lady that had 3 to 5 kids. So what she did was make sure she stayed on the program to get that money instead of trying to get a job skill or go to work, you know, like that. So you said they get them off at 3 years old, they get money up to the 3.
They get for the first 1,000 days. So she didn't qualify for this program based on the kids she already had. She qualified for this program based on another child she got pregnant with. She already had 4. So this 5th child is what qualified her for the program. And it looks like she is using the money, which is undisclosed how much she's getting. I think it probably is a lot, but she's going to school. She's going to Alverno to get a degree.
Okay, so what she did, she did a smart move. She decided she's going to have to go to school, but she's not going to push out any more babies. You know, I can't even figure this out. You're right, with all these people. And another one, when people moved here from another state, they used to put you back a grade, especially if you came from certain states where the criteria is a little lower. They move you back a grade, you know, because Milwaukee is just that high up in their school and education. Even cleaning around the city, it was a very clean place. But I'm going to tell you something. Now, you say all these people, I'm going to give you an example, even men. Now, you get a self-employed man. I'm not saying black or white. You get a self-employed man, after when they get about late 40s or 50, they're going to apply for Social Security disability. Because remind you, being self-employed, not all of them, they're not paying into Social Security, they're not taking any money out for anything. So therefore, if they don't have nothing to live on, so they have to go get this disability check. That's another problem I have, because based on certain types of disabilities that you get rated, you can't even pay child support from that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking with this lady, after all these years now, she's going to take advantage of going to school. When before women tried to go to school, when they were taking them off welfare, and they couldn't, they had to be ready for work. Okay, do unemployment. But why were we paying people to have all these children? And like, there should be criteria for having them. You have to go to parenting classes while you're pregnant, after you're delivered, parenting classes and family classes on how to raise children and nutritional classes. There should be certain guidelines. You have to go once a week or once a month, all to maintain this money, because you can't have a healthy family if they're not eating right and being taught right. A younger person, like you said, a lot of them don't have the teachings themselves. You got a 15-year-old raising children. When a mama's in her 30s and now, she's got to raise you, and you raising the child, a combination of both. They have to go to nutrition classes. They would have to go to classes on how to raise children, parenting classes. And where's the father at? Is there a sperm somewhere? You know, I can't understand. They get disability, Social Security. When they can't work anymore, they turn around and try to get that Social Security disability. Or the kids start getting medication to go to school so the parents can live off that check and that money. And that limits that child who thinks that they can't do any more than that. And that's unfair. I like kids, but it's unfair how you're going to treat these people and say you're going to give all this money to them to help move themselves up a little bit. Well, even if you get off the program, you're not having more kids. What are you going to do after that? You may have moved yourself up to Walker's Point or somewhere else, but you're not going to be able to afford to stay there unless you get a decent enough job. You know what I mean? But you qualify for all these benefits. Disability, Social Security, SSI checks and stuff like that. Where are we going with that? And I know tons of men from my job where I work at that all of them coming in with these checks, these letters. I'm on disability, SSI. I can't pay child support because the kind of money they're getting since they didn't pay into Social Security is a form of a welfare check. So you can't even get any child support, you know, from that. I don't understand.
Wait,
I think a lot of these people get out of...
Who can't get child support? Child support is...
If you're on Social Security disability, certain types of disability, you cannot You cannot take out for child support. That check they're getting is not the same check as me and you get because we work 20 years. Maybe a minor child can get Social Security.
So hang on a second. If somebody receives income through SSID or SSDI, they're not obligated to pay child support.
Depends on what kind they're getting. SSI, DA, whatever they're getting, based on that. Now, me and you worked all our life, okay, and we're in our late 40s or 50s, and we got on disability. Now, disability would pay, my child can get disability from that, a Social Security check,
Correct.
my 12 or 15-year-old child. Your child couldn't because most of your life you never worked anyway, or at least you don't prove that you worked through Social Security. You're doing handiwork, all this other work, selling dope. Now, all of a sudden, it's time you got arthritis, your arm, your leg hurt.
But those people are still on the hook for child support, though, Kathy, and also.
I know that they have an order. They have an order, but the order stops adding up. They don't just get rid of the order, but the order stops adding up if they're on certain types of Social Security disability. So they can't get credit or go around getting anything, but they're not going to erase the order. They're just going to stop letting it add up. You're $100 or $5 a month. You don't have to pay that anymore. But it still stays on the account, but it doesn't keep adding up every month. You don't pay. It's like an interest. You got interest on that, and you could bring somebody on.
So they take the interest. They stop the interest payments of somebody who's receiving disability. I need to look into all this because I never knew any of this stuff.
Yeah, they stopped the child support order from adding up. If you got a $200 order and you're on some kind of SSI, you do not.
But then your kids would also qualify because if a parent is on.
No. Depends on what kind of Social Security they're on. Okay. You can look it up.
Well, Kathy, we're getting way off. All right, thank you, Kathy. Thank you. That took me around the block to get next door. I don't know what not none of that is. I know she did say something that was erroneous. If you're an entrepreneur, yes, you are paying into Social Security because if you make profit, you're taxed on that. In fact, you're taxed on your first they moved it up, like your first $150,000, Social Security is taxed. Here's where rich people get a break that most people are unaware of. Any income that you make over $150,000, there's zero Social Security tax. Think about that. If you make $1,150,000 a year, okay, you are paying federal tax FICA on your first $150,000. It used to be $113. I think they moved it up. Might be $200 now. But that additional $1 million of income is tax-free when it comes to Social Security, and you still can qualify for it even though all of your income did not go toward it. If to save Social Security, all we would have to do is tax people's income regardless of how much they make, and you can have a diminishing percentage as their income goes up, but the fact that nothing over $150,000 or $200,000 a year is paid into FICA is what's screwing up the entire program. So that's a really, really small change. The other thing that I think people might get confused is like, oh, these billionaires aren't paying their fair share. Few billionaires, it might be a few dozen people in the country, make $1 billion+ a year. They have billions of dollars in wealth. Your wealth is not necessarily taxed. Your wealth is in property. Your wealth is in artwork. You don't tax that. You tax income, but wealth not necessarily. Unless you die and then you pass it on to your kids, then it's a death tax. Okay, take a break, come back, talk to Sandra on the other side. We're also discussing this new program arriving in Milwaukee called the Bridge Program. It's a foundation that put forward $1.7 million to fund the program in which we give expecting mothers a cash stipend for the first 1,000 days of their new child's life. The city of Milwaukee has allocated $350,000 to the program, and an anonymous donor gave the program $450,000 to give these cash stipends to expecting mothers. I think that there's something else going on at play because who is giving this kind of money without seeing it as an investment? They're investing in something. It's currently available. This bridge project is available in 12 states. Wisconsin is the most recent. Going to talk more about that on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's that time of year again for the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we'll be cleaning up the city of Milwaukee. You can also safely get rid of hazardous household items thanks to MMST. Drop off your items from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at MLK Elementary School. We're talking things like all antifreeze, paint thinners, batteries, and pesticides. Sign up now at ToryLoweCleanup.com. The Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Sub, and Waste Management.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Redlining happened here. Some neighborhoods are still left behind. When decisions are made about our blocks, our homes, and our families, we deserve to be heard. The Milwaukee County Office of Equity and Empower invites you to help us tell the story of wealth by taking a short survey online. What do you need to build wealth for your family, business, or neighborhood? Take the survey and be entered in to win concert tickets, cash prizes, and more. Take the survey now through the end of March at mkestoryofwealth.com. That's mkestoryofwealth.com.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. This is a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals and plates are piled high with flavor, and lakefront sunrises set the stage for unforgettable days. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We are discussing the arrival of the Bridge program, which is being offered in, I believe, 12 states now, with Wisconsin being the 12th, where we are expecting mothers a cash stipend for the first, I guess, 2.5 years it would be of a child's life. And they're saying mothers that get cash, they're happier, they're healthier, the babies are healthier, et cetera, et cetera. And there's some pretty sizable commitments to this program. It's like a universal basic income program, which in some cases I support, but this one requires you to be pregnant in order to get the money. And it may not be a lot of listeners of this program, but there are some individuals that think, oh, this is great. I want a baby, and I'll get cash that will help me for the first 2.5 years of my child's life. It's a very simple sounding concept, but I don't know, but there's no like class or qualifications for the program. It's like, oh, you're pregnant here. You can put your hat in to be selected to be in the Bridge program. The foundation put forward $1.7 million in Milwaukee to fund the program. The city of Milwaukee also allocated $350,000. So your tax dollars now. You remember, you're already paying federal taxes for federal benefit programs as well. $350,000 came from the city, so basically us. And an anonymous donor gave $450,000 in support. Every dollar goes directly to Milwaukee mothers. Altogether, the funding supports a cohort of 122 Milwaukee mothers with cash for 3 years. Let's say in 3 years here. Well, the rounding up, I guess. The idea is to provide them with the unconditional money, trusting that they know what's best for their families and can make the best choices to improve their quality of life long-term, Bishop said. To qualify, mothers must be at least 18 years old, 23 weeks pregnant or less, and have an annual household income of less than $39,000. Applicants are chosen through a lottery system. Over 3 years, mothers in the program receive an initial $1,125 prenatal stipend, and then $750 each month for 15 months, and then monthly payments of $375. Let me give you that again. Over 3 years, mothers in the program receive an initial $1,125 prenatal stipend, so while they're pregnant, then $750 a month for 15 months, and then 9 monthly payments of $375. And to qualify, you have to make $39,000 a year or less. So a single pregnant woman making $39,000 qualifies for an additional $1,125 while she's pregnant, then $750 a month for 15 months, and then 9 monthly payments of $375. I bet you some of these women gonna give that money to their pimps. Daddy, I got money coming in. The mothers don't have to report what they spend the money on unless they choose to participate in the research for the program. Milwaukee mothers in the program have met major milestones like going back to school, paying off debts, and buying homes. But equally as important to Bishop, who's the program administrator here in Milwaukee, are mothers who've been able to solely focus on ensuring stability for the children, she said. According to the Bridge Project's national research, 90% of mothers who have participated reported improved mental health and stress levels after receiving just one payment. 80% are working in full or part-time jobs after 18 months, and 63% of moms living in transitional housing reported moving into permanent housing within 9 months. Homeless women could qualify for this too, apparently. Halfway house women. Quote, there's impact across the spectrum, Bishop said. Moms are caring for their kids and using funds to support themselves and their babies during what can be a challenging time, both physically and emotionally. The Bridge Project also virtually connects the moms to each other through an app so they can build community of single mothers. However, in addition to that, the Zilber Family Foundation hosts local events for mothers, such as baby showers and meetups at Chuck E. Cheese. I should go to one of those. Just test to see, to be a journalist. I wonder what the demographics are of the women who qualify. The events with other moms not only give families like Howells the opportunity, so she's the woman that they're talking about in this article who qualified for the program, give families like Howells the opportunity to socialize and make new friends. Participating in the Bridge Project has also helped Howell find time for family fun. Howell said she was able to stretch her own income to cover their bills, and she pooled money with her mother to take her 5 children on a vacation to Disney World. Hang on a second. Does this woman have 6 kids? She had 4 with the guy that passed away. Then I think she had a 5th and is pregnant with a 6th. Quote, my kids hold on to that the most, Howell said of the vacation. They say, we're so happy there. We want to go back. While the bridge project in Milwaukee is not currently accepting applications for the new cohort, the Zilber Family Foundation is hoping to grow the program in the coming years, Bishop said. To other moms considering the program, Howell said she recommends that they go for it without hesitation. Programs like this are truly life-changing. It's not just about financial support. It's about having breathing room stability and opportunities you might not otherwise have. So as I look at this map of the states in which the Bridge program is currently active, it looks like the states from the late 80s and the early 1990s that were still giving out welfare checks, with Wisconsin being included. So I'm looking at this map, I'm like, oh, so me and my baby mama can move to Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Connecticut, or Oregon, and my baby mama can qualify for money, and we'll get a house, we'll get an apartment, and then I can sell dope while she gets enough money to take care of all the other bills. Let's talk to Sandra. Thank you for holding. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I am fine. I want a baby.
You said you want a baby?
Yeah.
Yo, no, you don't. Your factory is closed.
Why that?
No, your baby making days is over.
How you figure that?
Sandra, how old are you?
77. That's why I said it. Oh, yeah. I'm never having no more kids. I'm too old for one. And I had 3. And that was enough. I decided enough. And I tied my tools up. That's what I did. And that's what some of the other women should do, since, like you say, they don't have a way to support them. But anyways, talking about your bridge program. Now, speaking of that program, is it a type of racism element to it?
That I don't know. They're very light on demographic specifications. All I know is that you put your name in, and you're selected via a lottery. But also in this article talking about the program and the Milwaukee woman who is a participant in it, it's currently closed. So I'm not sure why they're advertising the program when nobody new can get in it.
Okay.
Especially you.
I was just thinking,
no babies.
I like I said, I had 3. That's enough. And the thing is, when I had my kids, we had each other. You know, you don't see that anymore. My mom and all of that. So we had each other, and I did the same for, you know, the rest of, not just my sisters, my siblings, my cousins and all, and the neighbors kept their kids. You know, my mom did, and we helped her out. But anyways, when you're speaking of these people, I was just thinking of, remember back here, Russian women were coming here to have babies in Florida?
Yes.
And then they were bringing the white people from Africa to have babies?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, and then one more set of people is coming here, but they say they're well educated. They study the fields that's open in the United States, and they're those, I don't know what you call them, like Indian people.
Birth tourism is a real thing, so they would encourage people in other countries, and it was for wealthy people. If you're pregnant and you want to be an American citizen, they would pay X amount of dollars, and what these birth tourism companies would do is they would provide housing, and they would provide all the medical stuff they need and all the hospitals, and they would lay everything out. So the person in the foreign country would pay 6 figures or millions of dollars to have this birth tourism to where they could come to America, have their child live in very comfortable settings, and their child will be an American citizen. But I don't know how that
some
program
of them real educated, they said.
Yeah, they were, because it's for rich people. But I don't know how that program relates to this. This is for poor single mothers.
Yeah, but some of these Russians, they must be rich that they send them here to have the babies. See, some of them say they want to make their kids citizens.
Correct. That's birth tourism.
If you have a baby,
that was reserved for wealthy people. Wealthy people get to come to America and have their children. No foreign countries was paying money to export their women to have children in America, because that ultimately benefits America and not that foreign country.
I was just wondering, because I was looking at all of this, and that they had them coming here to do all of this, and I was saying, well, what about the people that made America? I mean, our people worked for free years ago, and we still the ones that's the total criminals.
Point well taken,
So,
Sandra.
in fact, okay, let me say this real quick. Now, you were saying about Oak Creek. Now, I see a lot of people here now. As you know, Milwaukee's ran down and boarded up houses. Now they're starting to work on them. And I see a lot of Mexican skilled people working on it. How skilled they are, I don't know. Where are black people?
Unskilled.
We got to get them skilled. Okay, Sherwin. We got to get them skilled. That's all I have to say. Okay, bye.
Okay, then. Bye-bye. Get skilled, blacks. Well, how about we offer you our own form of a bridge program right now?
One call, that's all.
Right now is your chance to be our one call, that's all $5,000 giveaway entry for the day. We'll take call number 7 at 833-212-1017. You'll be entered to win $5,000, courtesy of 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices. Again, call number 7 at 833-212-1017. Remember, if you or a loved one has been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law Offices today. Visit them online at gruber-law.com. For official contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com. Call number 7 at 833-212-1017. Gets entered to win $5,000. No questions asked. No strings attached. Fathers are included, too. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share? Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It starts with a spark, and at Milwaukee College Prep, that spark turns into something extraordinary. From ages 3 through 8th grade, MCP nurtures brilliance, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of students face economic hardship, but that does not define them because at Milwaukee College Prep, every child's potential shines. With 4 campuses and one powerful mission, college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or to get involved. That is MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com, where Milwaukee's future begins to shine. As I was looking at birth rates and fertility rates in America, because, you know, people are having less children nowadays, I found something that I thought it was shocking. Maybe some of you are more familiar with this information than I. I was under the impression that this direction we are heading as a nation, where white people are going to be the minority. And right now, children under the age of 18 in America are majority non-white. But if those children who are majority children of color that are 18 and younger right now, if they have less children, then the white minority may take more time to be fully realized. But of all the different racial groups and their fertility, black women are having dramatically less children than every other racial group. It says black births have the largest decline. So now when I think about this bridge program that's being offered in 12 states where expecting mothers can get $1,100 while they're pregnant, then they stair-step these dollar amounts, they titrate them down. It's $1,100 for their first year or something, and then once they have the baby, they get 15 months of like $900, and then they get $375 as the program comes to an end. If black women are having decidedly less children, then this program in these states are not going to be for black women. It says over 3 years, mothers in the bridge program receive an initial $1,125 prenatal, then $750 a month for 15 months, and then 9 months they're receiving $375. And again, there's no strings attached. The women that qualify for this program, which is currently closed in Milwaukee, but the Zilber Foundation is trying to reinvigorate it. There's no strings attached, and the women do not have to report what they're spending the money on. They can do so voluntarily, but they are not required to provide information on what they're doing with the money. But of the information that was used to put this article in the Journal Sentinel, this particular woman who has, I don't even know how many kids she has. 5, 6. I think it's just random kids in the photo. I don't know how many kids she has. She used the money to go back to school, but then someone in the YouTube chat said she's going to get her degree in like health care, mental health care services or something. But then the student debt, because Alverno is expensive. I think it was Locked and Lovely said she's going to have $50,000 or more in student debt for a job that's only going to pay her $50,000 a year. Assuming she didn't get all of her Alverno education paid for, she's going to have a hell of a lot more than $50,000 in student debt going to Alverno. Alverno might be $50,000 a year. It's a ladies' school for ladies. Black births declined 25% since their peak in 2007. African American women are having faster and more sustained birth declines than every other racial group in America. How come I thought y'all was getting pregnant a lot. Fertility rate, a significant drop in total fertility rate specific to African American women, fell from 2.0 to 1.6 or lower. Contributing factors: economic pressure, lower median household wealth, higher exposure to recessions, decline in teen births. It's been the sharpest amongst black teens, which I think we'd call that a good thing. Delayed childbirth. These are reasons why black women are having less kids than every other racial group. Urban cost of living increases and public sector job stagnation, historically key employers for black women, which we've seen. 300,000 black women have lost federal employment since Donald Trump took office. If you think about this in the terms of, and I hate to use the G word, but like a covert genocide, if you believe these contributing factors as to why black women are having less kids, fire them from their jobs, because the economic stability is going to discourage them from having children. So if you don't like black people and you want less black babies, fire black women. Oh, that makes sense. That's smart racism. Because racism has got to for it to work, and it does, it has to be more intelligent, more intuitive than the black brain trust that's trying to defeat it. So what I'm worried about, and we all should be worried about it too, is one of the more sinister motives of artificial intelligence. How do you defeat African-American communities covertly so that we are less impactful and less influential, and tell AI to give you the answer? You know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm not here tomorrow, so everybody, I don't know, we'll probably play a recorded show, right? Play a good one, Xavier.
I'll just be hosting.
Oh, no, go ahead. Let's see how you fare. They'll be honest with you. They wouldn't let you host, though. You ain't been here long enough to host a show, Bucko. No offense.
Oh, I'm not offended.
Yeah.
It'd be a great program.
For you?
Your listeners would be so informed. They would be like, oh, my God. They'd be giving you policy all the next day and everything.
Oh, they'd say, oh, my God, all right. They definitely would say that. This is a fickle group. So I'm not here tomorrow. I should be back Thursday. We'll see. I'll let y'all know. I'll keep you posted in the Hughes Views Facebook group. But if contributing factors, so black women are having percentage-wise less children. Where's some other? I got a whole bunch of stuff here. What is this here? Confirmed decline in black births. Black fertility rates fell 4% in 2024 alone. This decline is part of a multi-year downward trend since at least 2019. Academic analysis shows the black share of U.S. births declined from 14% in 2016 to 13% in 2024 and is still declining. That means both, absolute births are down, and the relative share of births of American children, the black share, is also shrinking. Recent federal data released this month shows the total U.S. births fell to 3.6 million in 2025. That's down 1%. The fertility rate for American women hit a record low of just 53 births per 1,000 women. And so I'm putting this all in the context of this bridge program that is giving expecting mothers $1,125 while they're pregnant, and then 15 months of $750, and then additional 9 months of $375. But if black women are having less children, then the women who are much more likely to qualify for this childbearing stipend are going to be non-black. I'll take a break, come back, continue on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
I won tickets last week on your show to see The Wiz. I just wanted to call and say thank you and say I appreciate you. I appreciate the show. I appreciate the station. That was a core memory that was made last night. The Wiz was an amazing performance.
We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017. Milwaukee Black Talk, 101.7 The Truth.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
At
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
An epic Brewers Pirates series is coming April 24th through the 26th. Kick it off with Star Wars Night on Friday the 24th. And check out a post-game laser show presented by ESPN Milwaukee. Then on Saturday the 25th, get a Brewers Windbreaker giveaway courtesy of Courts. Wrap up the series with Family Sunday fun and kids cheer free. Plus, the first 5,000 kids take home an Abner Uribe poster. Grab a seat at Brewers.com.
You've been diagnosed with COPD, but breathing seems to be getting harder. Everyday activities, walking to the mailbox, going up the stairs, talking on the phone take more effort than they used to. You're short of breath more often. Flare-ups are happening more frequently. And slowly, life starts to feel smaller. Is this you? If your COPD symptoms are getting worse, there may be options that can help you breathe easier and get back to doing more of what matters to you. That could mean walking further, spending more time with family and friends, feeling more confident leaving the house, and getting back to the life you want to live. If your COPD is changing, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. Visit the COPD Foundation website at isthisyoucopd.org to learn the signs of severe and worsening COPD and the right questions to ask next. Take action today, breathe better tomorrow.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1965, Vietnam seemed like just another foreign war, but it wasn't. It was different in many ways, and so were those who did the fighting. In World War II, the average age of the combat soldier was 26. In Vietnam, he was 19. In Vietnam, he was 19.
There's this theory. I've talked about it before. It is considered very controversial. I don't know why. It's a scientific theory. So first you have to have an understanding of the 1973 Supreme Court decision of Roe versus Wade, which I'm sure by now some of you are very familiar with it. It legalized abortion. And for the next 50 years, it was essentially settled law until the U.S. Supreme Court looked at some things a little bit differently. But there's a theory called the Donahue-Levitt effect. You also have to know that per capita, African-American women, I'm not passing judgment at all, this is just scientific fact. African-American women have more abortions per capita than their other racial cohorts and counterparts, right? The Donahue-Levitt effect said that because, it's kind of racist, maybe it isn't, African-American women have more abortions. All women, white women have like aggregate more abortions, because even if 3% of white women are having abortions, that's more aborted babies than if 10% of pregnant black women terminate their pregnancies, right? So white women's percentages are lower, but their overall number is dramatically higher. The Donahue-Levitt effect says, after the passage of Roe versus Wade, 15, 20, and 25 years later, crime went down. And they measure the years of between 1997 and 2014. Crime went down because women were able to terminate pregnancies of children they otherwise would not have wanted, would have neglected, would have abused, and wouldn't have taken care of. And they attribute this to the number of abortions that black women had, that the crime rate lowered because unwanted children were never born because those pregnancies were terminated. And so then we have to ask ourselves, if the fertility of women writ large in America is going down, but with black women leading the way and just having less children, Is that a natural theory that will lead to decreased crime in the future? Because I'll say this, our policies are not really reducing crime. They're moving it and shifting it. Crime is cyclical, but it's not overall year over year over year over year over year reduced to where it's almost zero. So if policies work, because it takes policies a long time. We implemented a lot of policies during the tough on crime era in American politics. And I would argue that that era is coming back because when African Americans want to see longer sentences and when we become tough on crime and when we make it political, then you're entering that pendulum swing, because we have this pendulum that swings in America when it comes to criminal justice. The pendulum will swing toward more rehabilitation and deferred prosecution, these different deferment programs, drug rehabilitation, et cetera. And then when that doesn't work, the pendulum swings real hard in the other direction, 3 strikes laws, lock them up forever, truth in sentencing, et cetera. And I think that we are swinging away from the rehabilitation and be softer on crime and give people second and third and fourth and fifth chances back to the pendulum swinging of hard incarceration, because I think we got softer on it during the opioid crisis, because that would have locked up a lot of white people. Not white folks were still going to jail, but people then said, no, it's a health epidemic, the opioid crisis is. Let's be softer on crime. But then the pendulum is going to swing back. Invariably, it always swings back to being tougher on crime. But as I look at this data, and it says that if women are able to, if they have less children, and if they have the reproductive rights and freedom to terminate children, let's assume that they didn't want the baby and they weren't financially prepared for it, they weren't emotionally prepared for it, maybe they were young, they wouldn't have been a good mother. And if they would have had those children would have been neglected, probably abused, because a worn out, tired mama or daddy is not always nice to the kids, and kids need constant love and reassuring and nurturing and financial support. And if you don't have it, that can have a negative impact on the child. And so what this theory is hypothesizing, and it's very controversial, that if women are having less children, then crime is ultimately going to go down, because unwanted, abused, and neglected children would never be born in the first place. It says legalized abortion reduced the number of children born into environments with higher risks of crime involvement, including poverty and single-parent households and teen mothers. The impact appeared approximately 15 to 20 years after abortion legalization, as the cohorts born after Roe versus Wade reached their prime committing age years in the 1990s. Donahue and Levitt estimated that legalized abortion was responsible for as much as 50% drop of crime in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Something to think about. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you on Thursday.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the